Guys, we all know online co-op games are extremely fun and super popular right now, especially with the launch of games like Palworld and Helldivers 2, honestly right now blowing up on Steam. But what if you don't want to spend any money but still want to get a great co-op experience with your friends? Don't worry, today I'm going to bring you guys 10 of the best free-to-play co-op games you can play right now in early 2024, including 5 more bonus games as well. And all of these games are completely free to play right now. You can download them on Steam. So without wasting any time, let's talk all about it. Alright, starting today's list with a brand new free-to-play co-op game that was actually released a couple of weeks ago, which is a game called Sonder. It's a free-to-play co-op psychological narrative adventure game where you simply team up with another friend of yours and try to work together to complete different collaborative puzzles, engage in dynamic combat where each player has to use their unique abilities in order to advance through the story. And the game also does support online co-op as well as local co-op with the shared split screen, which is great to see in 2024. It's still a very new game to the Steam, and honestly not a lot of people know about the game right now, only having like 87 reviews, and they are very positive on Steam. So if you're looking for a fun little co-op game to try out, I recommend you guys to give it a try. Alright, next up we got a super cool little co-op game to play, especially if you have a pretty low-end PC in 2024. This is a game called Gravity. It's a free-to-play kind of fast-paced physics-based arena brawler where you can play with up to 4 players both online as well as local co-op. The game modes are extremely simple, kind of like deathmatch, and you simply choose your favorite combat robot and just try to take down each other, ultimately get more kills, more points, and try to win the game. And the game also does about 3 different custom game modes like Low Gravity, King of the Crates, and Juggernaut. Overall, it's a really fun little game. Just go ahead and invite a bunch of your friends and I'm sure you're gonna have a super fun time with it. Alright, next up I'm gonna mention a few other games, especially if you're just looking for some fun sports game to play with your friends, starting with a game called Omega Strikers. It's a super popular free-to-play top-down 3v3 sports game where you simply have to squad up with your friends and choose your favorite character from growing cast of strikers and challenge other players online for a thrilling PvP action. But if you're someone who prefer more of a 3D action, next up we got eFootball 2024. It's a game that I usually play with my brother. Really fun game to play with the 2 controllers on a shared screen, or you can simply invite your friend to a custom game to play online co-op, which is also a great feature. It is definitely not comprehensive as something like FIFA, but still a great free-to-play alternative, especially if you're a big fan of football. Alright, next up we got a pretty cute little 2-player puzzle game called With You. It's a very simple little story adventure game with a pretty cute hand-drawn art style, which I'm a big fan of, and the game was actually originally made as a solo student project, which is quite impressive. Definitely a great little game to play with your partner. Moving on from indie title to a massively popular co-op slash multiplayer platformer fighter, which is played by millions of players all around the world. And yes, you're right, I'm talking about Brawlhalla. And I don't think I have to do a lot of explanation because the game is so popular right now on pretty much all major platforms. But if you keep the multiplayer and the competitive side of the game aside, it's a great co-op game to play with your friends. You can play with up to 8 of them, and on top of all that, the game does support cross-platform co-op and cross-platform multiplayer, available on all major platforms on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo Switch, and also Android and iOS. Alright, next up at number 5 we got a pretty unique top-down co-op shooter called Alien Swarm Reactive Drop. It's a free-to-play top-down shooter where you can play with up to 8 of your friends. Simply grab a squad of marines with unique skills and abilities and drop into this alien world where you simply go on missions and complete a different objective in order to progress through the campaign. Other than the co-op mode, the game also does support online PvP, including game modes like Deathmatch, Team Deathmatch, and Gun Game. Overall, it's a great co-op experience right now, having overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam and easily playable even if you have a pretty low-end potato system in 2024. If you're not a big fan of this type of top-down shooters, you want real first-person shooter experience, next up we got a couple of more games, starting with Shatline, a great co-op experience where you simply jump into this massive alien open world with up to 3 of your friends, and along the way in this raw-like co-op experience, you fight against tons of different alien enemy types and boss battles and try to collect different valuable materials and successfully extract from the planet. And also, if you're a big fan of kind of Call of Duty zombie style co-op game modes, next up we got a great free-to-play alternative, which is the Team Battles 2. It's a game that I very recently reviewed on my channel, and I found this co-op game mode extremely fun to play with friends, and you can play with up to 3 of them online. Alright, if you're not a big fan of first-person shooters, next up we got a great third-person co-op experience, and it's a pretty popular game right now on Steam, which is called Caliber. It's a free-to-play team-based tactical third-person shooter which does support both online PvP as well as online co-op, and this PvE co-op mode is extremely fun to play. You can play with up to 3 of them, and you can simply choose a character between different classes like Assault, Medic, Support, or Sniper, and simply jump in with your squad and try to complete different objectives and simply move on to the next one and ultimately successfully complete the whole mission. Alright, next up we got a super cool co-op game to play, especially if you're a fan of arcade racing games, and that is a game called Disney Speedr. Speedr. It's a super fun action-packed combat racing game where you can simply jump in with your favorite Disney or Pixar characters and challenge your friends locally or online for a thrilling arcade racing experience. It's an extremely fun game to play with your friends or family when you have a free time, and you can play with up to 4 of them on split screen. Makes the game even more fun to play. Alright, next up at number 2, we got a super popular simulation style of a co-op games from the same developer, starting with a game called Onearmed Cook. It's a really fun, free-to-play, chaotic cooking game where you can play with up to 4 of your friends, and in this game you simply have to work together to manage this restaurant, but the catch is you can only use one of your hand. Makes the game a bit more challenging and really fun to play at the same time. And they also very recently released another variant of this game called One-Armed Robber. The concept is very similar, you can only use one of your hand, but instead of cooking in this game, you and your team simply pull off different heists on banks, shops and various type of establishment. Both games are super fun to play, so I highly recommend you guys to give it a try. Alright, at number 1 spot we got another very popular co-op party game where you can play with up to 16 of your friends, and this is a game called Microworks. It's a super fun, free-to-play, completely light-hearted party game where you and your friends complete a series of micro games like obstacle courses, trivia riddles, and you simply have to complete these tasks as fast as you can to earn more points and go higher in the leaderboard. And every game ends with a pretty intense boss battle, and right now I think there are 15 different bosses in the game, and you can simply work with your team to beat them. Overall, it's a super fun little game to play with your friends. Well, there you have it guys, 10 of the best free-to-play co-op experience you can have right now, including 5 more bonus games as well. So definitely go ahead and drop a comment down below what is your favorite game from our today's list. So if this video helpful to you in some way, and if you enjoyed the content, don't forget to go ahead and drop a like on the video and also subscribe to the channel. We are so close to 50,000 subscribers. I catch you guys soon in my next video. Stay safe.